Y'all, we can't waste any part of the apple. And let me show you what I'm doing with apple scraps. Hi everybody, and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. We are still working on apples. We've already done one video showing how we make apple sauce, the process that I follow, and now we're working on apples again. I just filled up my 18-quart canner with apples that I've already peeled, cored, and sliced, and they're actually ready to be put into my blender and into the jars. But that's not what this video is really about. This video is about what else I can do with the apples. So let's talk about what we're going to do with those cores and those peelings. So I'm still working on apples, and one of the things that I said I wasn't going to do was make apple jelly because I had plenty of apple jelly from last year. But y'all, I have too many cores and peels not to do something with them. Let me show you. So I have cores and peels in water. I've been boiling them for about 30 minutes now, and I'm getting ready to turn them off. Because y'all, we are going to make apple juice. We can't waste any part of the apple. That's just sacrilegious, if you know what I mean. So I took the cores and I took the peels. I put them in water. There is a recipe on page 188 that tells you how to make apple juice from apples. Now, they said use the whole apple. I'm only using the core and the peels. And it's supposed to make 6-quart jars, I believe it is. I could be wrong, y'all, but it's in the book. It's in the Ball Book of Canning. And after I do this step here, I got some cheesecloth here, and I am going to strain those cores and those peels so that I get a more pure juice down here in this container here. But I gotta let it cool. I gotta let it do all of those type things because that'll just melt the bowl that I have right there. So we are making apple juice, and we're going to can that juice. To can the apple juice, I'm going to have to add some lemon juice to it, right? Safe canning practices. And then we're going to water bath can for 10 minutes. So not only are we going to have applesauce, but we'll have apple juice as well. And I'm sure we'll come up with something else to do with the apples that I have left. And this is what I have left to figure out what to do. This is the second batch of apples right here. And we will be making apple sauce with this. And there's already a video showing you the applesauce process that I use. So this will be for applesauce. We got the cores for apple juice, and we're going to can it. If you can apple juice, y'all, you can turn that apple juice into apple jelly later if you would like to, or you can just drink the juice. So that's the plan, and we will plan something else for the rest of those apples. Now the cores and the peelings are done, and we are going to move them over into the strainer here. Now I don't have my tripod, so I'm going to have to put the phone down and bring it back after I start transporting from the pot there into this thing that I've set up here. I have that strainer and this strainer sitting in it just because I want to make sure I stay above the liquid. I don't want it sitting in the liquid. So I was just trying to find a way to get up high. And then I have a couple pieces, well, this is cheesecloth that I have folded over on top of itself. And then we're going to start dipping this out and into that bowl that you see right there. Now I've had these apples sitting for a little bit, trying to cool off a little bit as well, because I don't think that can handle the heat that's going to come out of these apples. I also took my potato masher and mashed up a couple pieces of the apples. I don't know if I was supposed to do that or not, but we did it. And now, hopefully this works. There we go. All right. And it's straining, and you can't see it because it's hot. But I will show you once we do this. So once I get all the apples in here, I need to let it sit in here for about 2 hours after I get all the apples in and all the juice in. The reason why we're using the cheesecloth to strain it is to make for a better, right? It's to get the settlements and the seeds and all of the mush and stuff. We want to keep that up here. We don't want that. What we want is the juice. And so that's what we're working on, and I'll finish dipping it out and we'll let it sit for about 2 hours. So I was worried about all the apples fitting, but they did. So I had 18 quarts of apples that I cored and peeled, and it filled this pot almost all the way up. And I have it all in here now, and it's draining. We're gonna let it drain for 2 hours, and we're gonna get all of this wonderful juice down here and turn it into apple juice. Or what if you turn it into something closer to an apple cider? If I'm not mistaken, apple cider comes from pressed apples. I didn't press my apples, but we'll have to taste it. Let's taste the juice, see how it tastes. If we need to sweeten it up a little bit, we'll sweeten it up a little bit and turn it into an apple cider. We might put some spice in some of them. But either way, we're going to turn it into some type of apple juice. Now we're going to let this process continue. I will bring you back and share with you that process. I have no plans to talk about what we're doing in this pot here from an applesauce standpoint because we've already done that video. Okay, several days have passed and I have been letting this apple juice kind of just settle out, right? Because I'm sure there's still some impurities and some fine stuff in the bottom, and it's been sitting still for several days. So we are going to take all of this and get it into our pot and heat it back up. So right now it is just apple juice. And y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not sweet enough for me. So we are going to sweeten this apple juice just a little bit. But the first thing we need to do is get it from this bowl into this pot. And try not to disturb the bottom. That's the goal. We're gonna do like this and pour it over. Trying not to disturb the bottom. Now, I probably could pick the whole pot up to do this, the container, and pour. And I'll probably do that when I get a little closer to the bottom. Try to keep those impurities out. Now I've already used cheesecloth, right? So there shouldn't be too much in here. So let me get this all over and out. Actually, this is going faster than I thought, but let's get this over and out and I will bring you back. And I know y'all see all this stuff over here. Y'all see all this goodness? Y'all know what's coming, right? Y'all know hot sauce is coming soon, just not on this video. This video, we are talking about apple juice. All right, I've put the sugar in this small batch here that had the sediments in that I'm not going to can. We're going to just drink it. Charlie's getting ready to taste it. I put like 1/8 of a cup of sugar in there with the apple juice.
It tastes great.
Does it? Mm-hmm. Does it taste like store-bought or better?
Better.
Better than store-bought. All right. Now we're going to just take that. We're going to jar that up and put it in the refrigerator. We don't need to do anything else to that. For this over here, we're going to heat it up. I need to stir in the little bit of sugar. I put in 1/2 cup of sugar for this versus 1/8 of a cup. I've tasted it. I think it tastes just fine. But now we're going to heat this up to 190 degrees, fill up some jars, and we're going to be good to go. I do need to add one more thing, and that's lemon juice. And it looks like I don't need to add very much lemon juice, like 3 tablespoons I'm going to get at least 6 quarts, maybe 5 quarts. And I only need 3 tablespoons of lemon juice for 6, oh, that's 6 quarts. I'm doing pints. Apples are not all created equally. So you need to add lemon juice to make sure you have the right level of acidity to ensure a safe canning process. So I will be adding lemon juice to each and every one of the, I'm not doing quarts, y'all. I can't. I'm going to have to do pint-sized jars because that's all I have. That's all I have. Since I am using pint-sized jars, I possibly could can it for fewer minutes, but there's no recipe on here for that. So I'm going to use the quart size, and it says I'm supposed to water bath can for 10 minutes. So that's what we're going to do, even though I'm using pint-sized jars. I prefer to over-process than to under-process. So if that's all I got, that's all I got. And we don't want to waste anything. Let me finish getting this stirred up and getting the temperature up so we can water bath can it. So my jars are ready to be filled. My apple juice is at 190 degrees, and I went ahead and just put my lemon juice in here. And this is a small batch, y'all, small batch. It called for 3 tablespoons in a large batch. I put 2 tablespoons in here, even though it's a much smaller batch. I tasted it. I love the taste, but there's definitely more lemon juice than I needed, but the taste is spot on. Now, we're going to fill these jars. And so all I need to do, y'all, is just to fill my jars. It said leave a 1/4 cup of headspace. So if you don't can a lot, you might want to measure that out. And I'm going to do that until I've used up all my liquid, and then we'll see what we have. So I ended up with the one that had the sediments in it. I've already had it in the refrigerator cooling, and you can see it's much darker than this here because the sediments are in that one, and there are very few sediments in these. But I ended up with just under 6 pints that we are going to can. If I had went ahead and used this, y'all, it would have been probably 7 pints, looks like. So this is for the refrigerator. Oh, y'all, and I went ahead and added a teaspoon of lemon juice to the one that I'm putting in the refrigerator, but this one is ready to enjoy. And these we are going to can. And y'all remember, we made this apple juice from scraps, right? So we don't want to waste anything, right? Every little bit counts. We don't want to waste any portions of those apples. And so I still have more apples to do. And I believe I am going to make apple juice out of the rest of the scraps for that last, what is it, 1.5 bushels of apples that are, not a bushel, I think it's just under 1 bushel of apples that's left. But anyway, I need to wipe the rims. So we're going to wipe the rims of every one of these jars. I got this cloth wet just to do this. Now that the rims have been wiped, put our lids on. The rims, I'm going to need both hands to show this step, but anyway, finger tight, which I need to go back and do that. And then we're going to put them in here on water bath can. Now I have 6 jars, but the canner holds 8. So I got to get these other 2 jars out, and we got to fill the water all the way up to 1 inch above the top of these jars. I will do that next. Jars are in. I got the water 1 inch above the jars. And now I just need to hit the button, and we're going to water bath can for 10 minutes. And when it's done, I'll show you what we ended up with. All right, y'all, the apple juice is done. It says it's done. We're going to go ahead and pull it out the pot. That looks good, y'all. So let's compare. See the difference? The one that has the sediment in it and the one that's just juice with the sediments filtered out. But they both taste quite delicious. So we're going to go ahead and get those moved over to where we're going to let them cool. and I'll bring you back. Y'all, there it is. There's our homemade apple juice. Y'all, we did this from apple scraps. Apple scraps. We got one with sediment that's already been in the refrigerator. That's why it looks different. It's got sediments in it. And these were strained, and then we let the sediments settle down to the bottom, and we made apple juice, y'all. Apple juice. Don't waste any part of the apple if you're going to be canning apples. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications, telling your friends and your family all about it, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up. So, until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you hang out with me at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.